what made you choose to have this kind of lifestyle? Because it's really difficult, right?
It wasn't a choice to begin with. I think it felt more natural to me. It's just that my urge to learn and explore something new and just never being comfortable. I think those are the essence of trying to live this life. And it just got to the point where I couldn't stop, so I just keep moving, doing more projects. And one thing that I felt the most is that satisfaction of doing non-mainstream travel. I go to places where people don't normally go, and well, along this interview you'll find out where I've been, in which I don't think tourists in general would go. So that's why I call myself a traveler. I'm not a tourist.
Yeah, you've been in Somaliland. So can you explain me how? I mean, we met in Malaysia in 2009, right? And then after that, where have you been? And what did you do?
If we went that far back, so that means 2009, right? So within that period, I was still in university. So I graduated from the National University of Malaysia. So after I graduated, I used to work for one of the airlines in Asia. I worked for them for 2 years there before I moved to Thailand. So at the end of 2015 until mid 2017, I used to live in Bangkok. And then it was still a corporate setting. So I felt like my passion is much in teaching and in just social work back then. So I took a rest. I tried finding some projects online, and I ended up got lucky. I got lucky and I found some projects in South America. So I decided to leave.
What project is that?
This project was a volunteering teaching in Ecuador. So they fully sponsored our trip, actually. So they flew me out all the way from Thailand to Ecuador. I felt like I did not regret any of my decision in my life up until now. And I feel like it was the right time and the right goal. So I quit my job and started my full nomad journey. That was kind of the turning point, really, because I've been everywhere during, when you work full time, when you travel, it's holiday, right? But that was the turning point where I have to decide where to go from there and shape my way of travel, right? And I also don't just want to travel. I want to make an impact while traveling. That's why along this interview, you'll hear that most of my projects, they're not hippie type kind of things to do. They're academic type. So that's the challenge too. Up until now, I don't want to leave a gap in my CV in which after I'm done traveling, then I can't do something that is impactful anymore. So I try to keep it on that line in between. I still get to travel, but also still doing something that means something to me, and hopefully give an impact to the society. So back to where I've been. I spent a couple of months in Ecuador. What happened to the project was interesting. It's probably for another talk. So I decided to move on to Colombia. And
it was 2016, right? Or
this is 2017, yes, mid 2017. So I was in Colombia until the end of 2017 to early 2018. I got offered a job actually to stay, and but I decided to reject the offer because I already had plans for Europe, and this wasn't my first time to Europe, but this was the trip where I get to visit more countries. So I was around Europe for 3 months.
Yeah.
And then I returned to Asia for a bit.
I think you are modeling. I think you are modeling too, right?
That too. That was incidental.
Can you tell?
Probably also another talk if if your viewers would like a story on that too. That was kind of interesting. So I went. So after Europe, I returned to Asia. I visited friends and family in Malaysia, Indonesia, and Thailand. Also, kind of taking my stuff because my stuff has been everywhere. I still have my stuff in Bali, by the way. I need to get those. And then I moved to Africa. So this was my first time in Africa. That's the Somaliland you mentioned. So I used to teach there in a medical university. And then I left for India for my yoga certification.
Where is exactly Somaliland? Is it
Yeah,
actually in Somalia, or where is it?
If you look up the map, Somalia itself is the whole east horn part of Africa, right? So it's called the Horn of Africa. So
Right.
the Mogadishu is on the coast side towards the southeast, I believe. So Somaliland is the safest tiny part up north, just on the right on the border of Djibouti. So they have invested a lot in security. So the place is actually safe. They have their own capital city called Hargeisa. They have their own currency, but we do use e-money a lot in there. And lots of their diaspora have returned home, and they built the country. They built the city. They open up restaurants and everything. So it was really an interesting dynamic there.
Wow. Wow. You spent there for 3 months or something,
I
right?
stayed there for 5 months, actually. Yes.
Mm.
So yeah, I didn't spend that much time in Asia because the contract was up. I had to start teaching there. So what happened was I spent 3 months in Europe from January to about March, and then 2 weeks in Southeast Asia, Thailand, Malaysia, Indonesia, and then in Singapore, actually. And so from there, that means May. Yeah, sometime in May, I was already there in Somaliland until about September. And then I left for India until end of the year. And I returned to Africa early 2019. End of 2018. I was in Casablanca, Morocco. And then you called in January. Yes, and then you brought me to Bali for your project. So that's where you came in again. That's where we got connected on a different level too. Until mid September, until mid-year or somehow summer that year, I left. I returned again to Colombia for a scholarship. So I studied Spanish. And then I returned to Bali for 1 month, thinking that I was probably gonna just find something to do in Bali, but fate, fate and other things. So just early 2020, I got another job offer to return to Colombia. And everything went so fast. Within that 1 week, everything was settled and I flew out back to Colombia. So for the whole year, I spent my year working there. And here I am now. So I returned here, to Indonesia, end of January 2021.
Wow, that's a long journey.
And that's lots have happened, especially the past 4 years. Yeah. So as I said, the turning point was in 2017.
My last question is, how do you get started? I mean, what are your tips or recommendations for people who actually want to follow your journey, want to do the same as you?
I have 2 things to say. One, invest in yourself and believe in yourself. About investing in yourself is that after graduating from university, I've always known my passion is actually teaching. So maybe that was the pre-tip, like finding your passion, finding things that you really, really love to do, things that you can talk for hours, or things that you can just do and then forget the time. That's your passion. You should pursue that. And for me, it's teaching and just sharing knowledge in a sense. So back to university time, my major was oleochemistry, it's called. So it's a study about edible oil. So after I graduated, I'm thinking maybe I should take some sort of teaching certification. So I ended up taking TESOL cert. So this certificate is a certificate where you can teach English. So instead of going back to school, let's say getting another degree of teaching, this is good enough. It's valid for you to teach English. So as long as you know what you will be doing in the future and your passion, just do it.
So basically you travel and you build your portfolio as well, so you don't waste your time.
Exactly.
When you already invest in yourself, you start believing in yourself more and take more risk. Taking risk also involve, for example, if I want to travel but I have to save this much money first. Don't think that way. Just take the risk and know what you're doing and go. So when you want to go for something, go for it 100% and just do it.
Yeah, because so many free opportunities anyway. So you just need to get prepared, even though it's not easy.